Me too. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Patsy Ferguson. I'm the editor of Fourth Wave and the host of this session. Welcome, Aza. We've had a
Hello
little bit,
there.
so glad you are here. We had a little bit of glitchiness getting started, but we're here now.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to be here hosting the session, which we've ambitiously titled What Matters Most to Every Woman in the World. So, Aza, Suma, and Yonggi, would you mute unless it's your turn to talk? Because I heard a little
Okay.
feedback. So the first thing I'd like to do is have our panelists introduce themselves. We have people who are fourth wave contributors from all over the world. So starting with Aza, if you would tell us your name, where you're calling from, what time it is there, and a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Patsy. Yes, so my name is Azadi Roo. I chose this name myself quite recently because I wanted to honor my own efforts in rejecting oppression of various forms from various communities. And so Azad means free, and Ru means spirit from the Arabic, Urdu, Persian cultures, which I want to remind everybody are thousands and thousands of years old and predate Islam. And the reason why I'm wearing this is because I really want to, in action, honor the fact that there are different patriarchies in the world and no one is better than another. No one is less or more oppressive. And too many women are divided on this very point, that their culture is less oppressive than that culture. And I really want to assert very strongly the fact that, having to display your body and this incredible rise, exponential rise in bulimia, anorexia, cosmetic surgery in the West does not signify that the Western form of patriarchy is any better than the other forms of patriarchy, such as the one that my mother grew up in, where women are dressing modestly and maybe wearing a veil as well. But also because so much of what I say and do, I have been physically attacked for in the past. So this is also why I'm wearing a veil, which I don't in my normal day-to-day life in the UK. So this is a bit strange for me as well. But for those two reasons, the next session that I'm going to be joining is called Balancing Privacy While Writing Deeply Personal Stories. And I think this is one of the wonderful aspects of Muslim culture where women can speak out wearing a veil and they have got a degree of protection. And let's not forget that so those women are protected and no man will dare to say, raise your veil. And in fact, when you think about Israeli terrorists, they took advantage of that feature of Muslim society where women are free to come and go. And so Israeli soldiers put bombs under their abaya in order to, because they knew they would not be challenged by males if they, so I'm just wanting to really very strongly make the point that Western feminism or Western society is no better or no less wounding to women than any other.
Thank you, Aza. And what time is it where you are? Tell
Sorry,
us.
so the time right here is 2:30 in the afternoon. So, and
And
I'm in the
who?
UK.
Okay, thank you so much. And
So
um,
I will ask Suma to introduce herself, please.
All right. It's wonderful meeting all of you again after 3 days. I really feel that we have hit it off so well. We've almost become like friends in the middle of the night. It is 11:30. Yes, it's around 11:30 here in Melbourne, where I live. I'm an Indian, I was born and brought up in India, and in a small little southern state called Kerala. And I did my post-graduation up to there. And then after that, my husband came. It was an arranged marriage. His mother liked me. He came and saw me 3 days before the marriage. His mother always used to say, "It's your smile that deceived me. Otherwise, I would never have got my son married to you." Anyway, so it's 11:30 in Melbourne. It's way past my bedtime, which is 9 o'clock in the evening. And it's bitterly cold, and I'm wearing layers and layers of clothing. And I identify as a woman, and in all her ramifications, as a mother, as a counselor, as a wife, as a mistress, if you will, and most importantly, as a woman writer, which is very important, I think. That's all about me. I think we will ask Yong Yi to take up the baton and introduce herself now. Yong Yi.
Hi, nice to meet you all again, and welcome to this session for those who are online. My name is Yong Yi, and I am a Malaysian. I live in the capital city of Malaysia, which is Kuala Lumpur. So it's 9:35 p.m. here. I am actually in the education sector. I'm a lecturer, and I write about various things, but mainly on the intersection of gender and other categories, other categorizations. And the area that I am right now lecturing in and I'm doing research on is sport, a very highly muscular domain, if you know. And we have a lot of issues that waiting to be discovered it's already well known in a lot of areas, about inequality in countries. So I think I enjoy the writing so far on Medium, and I'm going to share more about who I am later on in the next round.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Next, I would like to dig a little deeper by asking what community you belong to, and you can define that any way you like. Most of us belong to many different groups, but what I'd like to know is which group is most important to you, which do you identify with, which community defines you. So let's start again with Aza.
Thank you, Patsy. So yes, I think so much of our being is defined by accident of birth, the accident of, which gender we are, which region of the world, which social political situation we're born into, which religion we're born into. So while obviously our consciousness is shaped by those factors, as a reasoning being, who do I choose to identify with? And I very much strongly identify with what I call the tiny, tiny community of worldwide truth tellers. And so whether historically, it might sound funny, but I have been hugely comforted by reading about the life and writings and poetry of a man that was born 1,100 years ago. He was vegan, he was blind, he was a philosopher. He was opposing the women-hating aspects and the authoritarianism that he was seeing developing in the Muslim rulers at the time. So he was a very brave individual. And similarly, such brave individuals as Sophie Schoen, who spoke up against the Nazis in the 1940s and was beheaded at the age of 21. So many of the truth tellers across the world in time and space have not survived their truth telling. And this is happening just as much today when we look at people like Karen Silkwood in America, or we look at well, there are so many names, but the community of truth tellers is where my heart is. Thank you. So, Suma, would you like to say a little bit about which community you identify with?
I was thinking about this, and I was the last time we had the rehearsal, I was expounding on the fact that I'm a woman and stuff like that. But I feel, the more I look at it and the more I age, and the less I have to fight with things and ideas and all, because once you become a little older, you become a little freer in so many ways. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to be old. I feel very happy that I'm very old and I don't have to take crap from anybody anymore. Anyway, so I identify more than being a woman. I identify as a human being. Just the fact that that you have a heart large enough to forgive other people and to be compassionate to people, even if you don't agree with what they say, is, I think, something very, very important to all of us, because we are becoming so narrow in everything that we do and we say and we think. So I feel that if we have the heart to actually understand somebody who thinks or speaks differently from us, whether we agree to it or not is immaterial. Just the fact that you can deal with differences of opinion and be compassionate about it and agree that, yes, you are right in your own way, I am right in my own way. And that doesn't mean that we have to have a war with each other, we have to fight with each other. So I identify now, at this very late stage in my life, as a compassionate human being who agrees to live and let live. And in that capacity, I think I'm everything together. I'm man and woman and child and teacher and animal or whatever. But just as a human being um, who can understand that people are different and allows themselves to be different. I think that is what I identify with now at this stage in my life. I'm very happy and no shit from anybody else, but this is what I want to do and this is what I want to be. Thank you. Yong Yi, I'll pass the baton to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Suma. I think for me, it's true that everyone was saying gender is a social construct. I grew up, I think I identify with girls, women, and then, I live in Asia. I'm a Chinese, I'm a Malaysian. But when Patsy asked us to, think more deeply about this, identity, um, it really made me think in a deeper level, in the sense that when I write, I think I identify with writers or people who write to make others people's voice heard, because we write in the in a place of privilege, really. We can write, and what we are writing, there are people who read it online, like, for example, on Medium. So I think it's a privilege, and I can feel that when I write, I don't think that I identify with just certain group of people, or I belong to anywhere. So it's a very strange feeling that I feel I don't belong to, any specific groups or any specific places. But sometimes I feel that I belong anywhere. I can be anywhere. When I speak for these people, I speak from that place. So yeah, that's what I think about, my identity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move to the featured question, which is what matters most to the women in your community? And we've got about 15 minutes left. So time is flying, but I want to hear from each of you, starting with Aza. Asa, you're muted. You need to
Sorry.
unmute.
For not any one community, but for the community of women as a whole, worldwide, I think what's most significant is bodily integrity. And alongside bodily integrity, if the female way of being and functions, the female functions were actually given respect and honored, then all over the world, the entire oppressive nature of laws would have to change. So Suma had mentioned about practices about labeling women as impure and having to be restricted. I had mentioned about the practice in Islam of which I objected to very much when I was 11 years old, that if you have your period, you're not allowed to touch the Quran because you're impure. In the Western tradition, you had the idea that childbirth is a just punishment for Eve's mistake. And therefore, any women who are providing herbs which heal the pain, lessen the pain, were then seen as consorting with the devil, and they had to be punished and tortured and burnt alive. So, as I was saying, all of these horrific traditions which arise from the patriarchies are all spewing hatred towards female functions. And so even now, we might think that we are making inroads, but look at what's happening in America with the overturning of the law regarding the right to abortion. So I would emphasize that the one thing we as women worldwide need is honoring the female functions and bodily integrity. Thank you. To Suma next.
Thank you. Thank you, Asa. That was an eye-opener in many ways, because I didn't realize that having periods or having a child was something that makes women infertile. I mean, not infertile, impure in so many races. I did not know that. I thought it was just us. No, anyway, so I think what matters most to a woman is the freedom to express herself, and the realization that she's got a right to express herself. And this freedom and this right will come only if all girls are educated and all mothers of girls are educated. Because it's only a mother who can tell her daughter that this is wrong, this is right, and you don't have to be afraid of the men in your lives, because you have a right to be, because you're born a human being, and you've got just as much right to be in the world like your father or your brothers. So it's only a very strong mother who can teach her daughter this. And that mother can be strong only through education. And I'm speaking from my own experience, because among a whole lot of people in my family, my mother was the only person who was educated at that age. This was around 1950, and she not only did her education, she not only went to school, she went to college, she got a postgraduate degree, and she was very, very sensitive. She could translate Malayalam literature into Sanskrit, and she could translate Shakespeare into Sanskrit and Malayalam. So she was well versed in all these three languages, but she was not allowed to write, because my father believed that what was more important in the house was to make sure that the cooking was done in time and the children were taken care of, So even though she was educated, she was not able to do that. So she made it a point to tell me that, whatever you do in life, whenever you have a chance to rebel, to make a noise, to make sure that people can hear you, do it. So I've been doing that, and that's why I became a teacher. Anyway, so this is what will help a culture and a community improve itself. Make sure that your women are educated, even if men are not educated. Very important. Thank you very much. Yongyi, your turn.
Thanks, Suma. I think what I believe it's important for women, it's somehow similar to what you mentioned just now. I think it's important for women to be seen as a human being, as a person, not so much about seeing them in the light of, not seeing them in their social roles. For example, someone else's wife, someone else's sisters or daughters. And yeah, so these social roles in my own culture, right, for example, I think many people's wives, still in my generation, I would say, their hardship are always undermined because they are someone else's wives, and then because they are the women in the family. And also, I think, like for example, if you are sisters in the family and you have other siblings, you have brothers in the family, and many times your aspirations probably will be the one to be sacrificed if someone else have to give way to that. Okay, so I think the important thing for all of us is to see women in a different light, which is to see everyone actually, like equally as human being, not in their social roles, not labeling them and, telling people that, okay, this is just a woman in the family, things like that. And I think the most important thing is not just the general public, but it's women ourselves, women, people who identify as women. We need to have the change of mindset. Easier said than done, but it's something that is so important because we need to believe that, we need to believe that we should be seen as a human being more than like, just someone else, daughters, wives, or sisters. Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh, thank you so much, all of you. Now I would like to engage the audience, but I don't see any questions in the Q&A area. If anyone has thoughts on this issue, what matters most to women in your community, if you would put your name in the Q&A, because I do have 11 people in the moderation area, but I don't believe they all want to speak. My understanding of the software is I can allow people in the moderation area to speak with their video and audio, but I don't think 11 people actually are asking to do that. It's just we're all unfamiliar with this software. So if you would like to speak, if you would ask a question and just say, I have a comment, or you can type it in the questions, that would be great. Let me take this second to say that when we had a rehearsal, I realized we weren't really going to have enough time to talk about these deep issues. And so I decided to set up a follow-up. And I would like to invite you all to come. It's a salon like they used to have of writers and readers of Fourth Wave. And I set the time for 2 weeks from today, 8 a.m., which is just a little bit later. It's a little harder for the international people. But if you're interested, just go to Fourth Wave. I'm going to share my screen for a second and show you what that looks like. This is, I think I'm sharing it. I don't know. Here we go. That's what the publication looks like on Medium. And I've published a story this morning that invites you to this salon called Let's Talk. So if you would like to do that, just sign up there, provide your email. And I don't see any questions. So let's go on to in the last few minutes, I'd love to ask, beginning with Aza, about your experience publishing on Medium. What is it you'd like to get out of publishing here?
Azza, you're on mute.
So you're
Sorry.
there we go.
Sorry. Yes, I was just saying I've absolutely fallen in love with Medium because it's the immediacy of response. You know, somebody like yourself, Patsy, owner of a publication, um, presses publish, and then you have people commenting. And this is what I love, the sense of connection and the sense of togetherness and the learning that I have been engaged in through the readings that I have done has just been really transformative and also very heartwarming. So I want to thank Medium, thank Patsy, and everybody who writes on Medium. Thank you. Suma.
Okay, so I think my Medium adventure owes its success to a large extent to Patsy, because you are the first editor who actually came out with a long, lengthy letter telling me exactly, I mean, all the rules of your publication, and you're so kind and so. You know, I was new to Medium. I did not know what was happening, and I kept on watching my how many likes I'm getting, how many followers I'm getting, etc. And then when you came out with this letter, I really felt welcome. You know, for the first time in I don't know 2 months or something, I've been writing on it, and I really felt welcome. So if I am successful in it, I owe a large part of the success to you and to your attitude. You know, I speak about compassion always because it's so important in life, and I found compassion in you first. So you helped actually, what shall I say, put my first steps on the road to success. So I'll owe that completely to you. And from there on, I began to write, and then I noticed that, you know, there are a lot of women writers on Medium. And I find that, you know, when I'm speaking about certain things, people do not, you know, they do not outright put you down in some way, saying that this is not what you should say or this is what you should say and things like that. They listen to you, and if they agree with you, they say something. If they do not agree with you, most people don't even bother to actually come and repudiate you in some way. So I find that Medium is as a platform where you get a lot of welcome and honest feedback from people, and a lot of responses are something that I actually look forward to, whether it is I mean, most of it is constructive, so I'm very happy with it. And I love the women on Medium. Really, truly love the women on Medium. And they make me feel that I'm part of something larger than myself, you know? So that is the reason why I love writing on Medium. Thank you very much, Medium. If you're listening, whoever is listening, thank you very much. And I would like to ask Yongi about her experience on Medium.
Thank you. Yeah, so I really need to thank Patsy because as I told, I think all of us here the other day, I think Patsy was the first editor who gave me constructive feedback on what I wrote, what I submitted to the publication forthwith. So I remember the first article that I wrote. It was about the movie Portrait of a Lady. So that movie gave me a lot of thoughts, make me think really deeply. So I actually dig very deep to write about like the female gaze as well. It was also the first time that I really pay attention to, you know, that concept of female gaze. So I think the good thing about us writing on Medium and also publishing on like Forthwave is that we are able to put our thoughts into words and share it with an audience that already know they want to look for something that can change what they think. I think we are trying to, you know, sometimes I feel that we are trying to provoke, you know, make people think deeper about certain things. And that's what I enjoy a lot because sometimes my post is just about one idea and I want to include it in just one simple post, regardless of how long it is. I just want people to read and think about that idea. And that's what I really enjoy about publishing on Medium. And also, no matter what languages you write in, or you love, or you like to try, I think as long as you have the courage to write and publish, there will be readers who read. And as every one of us here, I would say agree. I think the readers on Medium are also, I would say, kinder, and also they think twice. Most of them, before they comment. They really have put thoughts in commenting it. Yeah, that's what I enjoy a lot on publication.
Thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but my computer says it's 7:01 and people may be wanting to get to other sessions. It's been really a pleasure. And thank you all for coming. And I hope to see you on Fourth Wave in the comments and maybe make a submission. And I hope to see you all, Yami, Suma, and Aza again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.